own tiny topic notebooks to stretch and grow as a true story in our lives. I've been thinking and I've been reading your work and I've been saying to myself, wow, there are some really special moments you've been capturing from your lives. You've been writing about the first time you got a new bike. You've been writing about your time at the lake. You've been writing about your new backpack for school. You've been writing such special moments in your lives. And when I was at home, Eduardo, I was looking at the bookshelf, and it reminded me of some of the books at home on my bookshelf. Last night I spied Ivy and Bean on my bookshelf, and I turned to this page where, is it Ivy or Bean? Bean's sister threw the worms in Nancy's mouth, and it made me laugh out loud just like Dominic. And it reminded me that we read stories with different intentions. I think the author, Annie Barrows, wrote this story to make us laugh, Joel. Give a nod if you think so. Yes, sometimes authors write a story to make us laugh. And then I looked up at First Day Jitters, and I remembered, Ruth, how at the very end of the book, I felt so surprised when we learned that the person who had all the jitters wasn't a student at all. It was Mrs. Sarah Jane Hartwell. And it made me think, I bet Julie Dinberg wrote this piece to make us feel surprised. An author's intentions might be to help us feel a certain way. Today I want to teach you about author's intent,
Author's intent.
And I want to teach you that writers, just like you, ask themselves, what am I trying to do as a writer? Echo?
What am I trying to do as a writer?
As a writer, we write pieces for different reasons, Dorian, to show and tell about different things in our lives. And today I want to teach you that writers ask themselves, what am I trying to do as a writer? And I'm going to ask myself that same question today, Angelica, because as I was thinking about Ivy and Bean and First Day Jitters and even Nate the Great and feeling really curious, I was thinking maybe Marjorie Weinman Charlotte, maybe Marjorie is writing this book to help the reader feel curious because it's full of mystery and it helps us guess on every single page. Writers have different intentions, and it got me thinking, what's my intention in my piece about the rain? My piece about the rain is full of emotions, Louise. But I want to ask myself today, and I want you to ask yourself the same question. Ready?
What am I trying to do as a writer?
When I wrote this story about riding the bus and getting drenched in the puddle, I knew that it was a good story, Dominic, to tell because I cared about that moment, Kamara. It stood out to me. But if you were to ask me, what are you trying to do as a writer? I'm not quite sure what I would say. I'm not sure if I was trying to write a laugh out loud story like Ivy and Bean. I'm not sure if I was trying to write a mystery story to get you to guess what was going to happen next. I'm not quite sure what my intention is. So today I'm going to ask myself that same question, and I'm going to teach you how writers revise on the go to add details to bring out our intent or purpose for our piece. I'm going to ask myself, what am I trying to do as a writer? So let me show you what I mean, Fernando. I'm going to revisit my piece about riding the bus, Gerardo. And I'm going to ask myself, what am I trying to do as a writer? So, what am I trying to do? What do I hope my reader gets out of this piece? Do I hope that they laugh? Do I hope they feel nervous, like Sarah Jane Hartwell? Do I want them to feel surprised as they read, Anthony? I have to ask myself, what do I want my reader to do? So I'm going to open up to page, one of my pages in my book. Let's see. Let's open up to page, right here. On page 4, where I land smack in the middle of the puddle. Splash! This page was pretty funny, Kumara. When I first read it to you guys all laughed to yourself. Maybe I'm trying to make my piece really funny. If I wanted to make my piece especially funny, Gerardo, I could write, I stumbled and fell off the first step like a boulder in a rock slide. I saw myself getting closer to a huge puddle. Oh! I said to myself, and then I crashed. There was water in my ears, my eyes, even in my boots. But maybe that's not what I want to do. That is pretty funny, isn't it? I could make my piece even funnier by adding different words, Sherlyn, but I'm not sure if that's my intent. I'm not sure if that's what I want my reader to do, Victoria. So let's see. Here at the beginning, maybe I want my reader to pay attention to how lovely the place was. If I want to do that, I could write with lots of details about what I saw, Fernando. I could say, then I looked up. The sparkling buildings were still there, high above me. Rays of sunlight danced across them. The sky had patches of blue. Do you see how you have a really different feeling right now as I read that story to you? The words I choose draw out the purpose, Jackson, or the intention of my piece. And today, I want you to ask yourself, what am I trying to do as a writer?
What am I trying to do as a writer?
So, scholars, there are lots of choices to think about. Do you see how thinking about these helps me to think about how I could write my piece, Anthony? Maybe I want to write with more detail about what I saw. Maybe I want to write about more detail about what I'm thinking in my mind or feeling. Depending on my intention, what I want my reader to think about or feel as they read, I can write in a different way. And today I want us to practice asking ourselves that question. So, when I say go, I'd like you to pick up a piece you're working on right now, Jackson. You're going to pick up your piece and you're going to bring it back to the carpet. And you're going to think about your intention, about your
Intention.
And you're going to ask yourself this question.
What am I trying to do as a writer?
And you're going to pick a page where you can revise your piece to draw out that intention, Anthony. Maybe there's a page where you really want your reader to laugh, like I chose in my book. Or maybe there's a page, Sherlyn, where you want your reader to feel like they're there. And if that's the page where you want to do that, maybe you're going to go back to writing today and add lots of details about what you saw. Today you're going to make a decision about your intention, why you wrote this piece. Fernando?
I have a question. What happens if we're done revising, if we're not finished with the pieces, can we finish it when we're done, like revising the page?
Scholars, let me revoice Fernando's question and ask you. Can you start an old piece to finish that after you finish revising?
Yes.
Absolutely, because what do we do during writing?
Right.
So, writers, in a moment I'm going to say go, and I want you to take out your piece and bring it right back to the carpet, and we're going to ask ourselves in our brain, do I want my reader to laugh? Do I want my reader to feel like crying with me? Do I want my reader to feel surprised? Do I want my reader to feel like they're at the lake with me and they never want to leave?